So this is a pretty incredible book, and I would not recommend getting into it unless you are ready to do exactly what it says. So this book is the Master Key System. It's pretty incredible because any kind of truth can withstand the test of time. And this book was written over 100 years ago, and it applies to us pretty much in the exact same way. Truth of this book is everlasting, and that's what makes it so important. That's why it was written so long ago, and you can take the principles, the ideas from it, the knowledge from it, and use it today or in any situation across different cultures, different periods of time, different people. It's universal. What is it meant by universal? It means that anybody could read this book, understand these concepts, the power that is within this book, and pretty much the power that is within us, and use it to get to where we want to go. If we have the ability to listen or to read this book, we have the ability to use the power that is inside of us to get where we want to go. And this book explains everything in the simplest way possible, scientifically, and the way that it's put is easy to understand by anybody that can read it. Understanding this book, there are other books that go into more detail behind the sciences of it. This book touches on a general overview of the scientific principles that govern the law of attraction, how to use our mind, to use our thoughts, deep thinking, to get where we want to go, and how consciousness is primary and the world of external stuff, physical matter, is secondary. And that if you've never heard of this concept, or even if you have, it is a tough one to digest because we are mainly outwardly directed people. Since the day that we're born, we use our five senses to navigate this world. And to say that the external world is secondary towards compared to our mind, that's a tough one. That's a tough idea to swallow. But it is how this book explains it, and if we can understand the principles of this book, it really does explain it in a simple way. When I say that this book is a pretty special book, what do I mean? Because a lot of ideas get shared around the law of attraction, how to get what we want with positive thinking, our ideals, and like we can kind of understand those principles, but this book takes it one step further and actually gives us tasks to do. It gives us things to do at the end of every chapter, and we do not move on from that chapter unless we do that thing, and we can show that we have control over our mind, our body. We can do exactly what it says, and then we can move on to the next chapter. So that's why it's really exciting. This is a practical book. It shares in-depth knowledge of how this works, how the mind works, but then it also gives us a task to do to prove that this is what we've learned, and then we're going to take it now and put it into action. And these are the simplest tasks. You need no more than 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes per day to fulfill these tasks on a daily basis. And obviously digesting the book in audio or if you're reading it would be the other time. So Charles F. Haanel wrote the Master Key System, and this book has been around for a long time. Like I said, 100 plus years. This book has influenced people, various people, one of those people being Napoleon Hill, who went and wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, and many other books, to do what he did after reading the Master Key System. This is how powerful this book is. It is so simple, it is crazy, but this is actually the Master Key System, the key to the mind. We all have this tool. We all have the tool of the mind, and this book tells us how to use it effectively, why things are the way they are, the way that emotions come into play, and pretty much the easiest way to explain it in logical terms that even somebody who's 10 years old can understand what's going on in this book and apply those principles. So that's why this is such a special book. And I was referred to this book a long time ago, and I finally got around to reading it, and it is such a blessing. It is one of the best books I've ever read. Charles Haanel goes into detail on the Master Key System, the law of vibration, aspects of creation that are all around us, universal laws that are always acting with us and to us, based on what we give to the world. And it just explains in such a nice, delicate way with plenty of examples. So the Master Key System goes deep into that area of the law of attraction and covering these universal laws. And I guarantee if you read this book and do exactly what it says, things will begin to change. Things will begin to change. And if you have not read this book, but you know about the law of attraction, this is your next book to read. This is the next thing to do. Getting on this path, it just gets better and better. The better we can use our mind for thinking. Thinking is an action of the mind. And the better that we can do that action of thinking, the better that the causes will be. Thinking is the better the effects will be. So thinking is the cause, and things that are happening in our external world are the effects. So cause and effect is one of those natural laws that the book goes into, and this is the next book. If you're interested in the law of attraction, if you are looking to get on a path of growth and making progress, this is one of the best ways to do it, and because of the practical examples that this book goes into. And many people might disagree with this, but in the book, it goes into details of thinking. There is a right way to think. There actually is a right way to think. So that means that there's also a wrong way to think. And in this book, it's covered what is the right way to think. Pretty much the right way to think is to think in the direction of where we want to go. Just like when we're making a lane change on a car, we look where we want to go. We make sure that the way is clear, and we look and we go in that way. We don't look in the other way, and if we're not going in that direction. And it's the same with thinking, and this book just covers it in plain, simple terms, using metaphors of simple examples to share why this is the right way of thinking, and how the wrong way of thinking can find us in a pretty ugly mess that most of us could find ourselves in, but just might not be aware of it. So if we're trying to become aware of our thoughts, this is one book that will definitely get us to wake up and observe our thoughts and see what's going on in our mind repeatedly, what's coming on the screen of our conscious mind day in, day out. Most of our thoughts are unconscious, but this book, following these paths of personal growth and development, help to wake us up to our own thoughts, so that it's not just a veil over our eyes, the same thing happening again, the same thoughts like yesterday. And if we don't change what has happened in the past, the way we think in the past, we can't change the direction that we're going in our future. So books like this, I think this is one of the better books on the law of attraction, universal laws, but pretty much any book that is in this category will help to do that, to help wake us up, to observe our thoughts, to be conscious of these things. And when we are aware of these things, then we can start to make a change. We become aware of it, and then we can get better thoughts, more empowering thoughts. And this is where emotions come into play. Emotions are the fuel for our thoughts, and this is what will drive action. So this book is so powerful, so simple. I would love to share part by part, go into some of the details of this book. It almost feels like some deep dark secret that people don't know, but it's so simple, and it's in this book, written by this man who's very well articulated this subject matter, which admittedly can be extremely abstract, hard to comprehend, hard to understand when we're talking about things of the mind. When we're talking about this invisible force, thought vibrations, it is extremely hard to understand and grasp. But this book does one of the best jobs to help understand that in practical ways. And we have, if you're even watching this video, if you have lived for any certain period of time, you have enough experiences to know what makes you feel good, the thoughts that make you feel good, the actions that make you feel good. You know what is a good vibration. And you have sufficient experiences of down moments, depressed moments, moments where we just kind of, everything crumbles, so we have sufficient experience to tell what is a lower vibration. And through these examples that we've experienced, we have a pretty good picture of what's going on with the law of vibration and the law of attraction. So this was an extremely powerful book, and like I said, I would absolutely love to go in more detail of this book. I'm an audiobook kind of person, so I've been listening to this thing on repeat. It is so good. Everything just makes so much sense. I would love to embody this and also kind of pay it forward in a way to share this information in my own way, what I have got from it. And if you would love to get into this book, I would highly recommend it. If you're thinking about it, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to be posting more content about this book. It was so powerful for me. I had quite the impact that I'm gonna try to produce more content on it. This is just a general overview of it. If you're thinking about The Master Key System by Charles Haanel, I would absolutely recommend to get this book, audio form, hardcover, whatever it is. Digest this material. It is incredibly powerful. Every other page is like a life-changing quote that you can pull from this book. There's so much good information here. I would highly recommend it. So drop a comment, let me know what you think about the Master Key System. If you have read this book, let me know how it has impacted your life. And if you haven't, or you're thinking about it and you're just curious, feel free to drop any questions, any comments, something that you might be looking forward to in this book, or a topic that you're trying to grasp. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and there will be more content on this book, I promise you. So take care. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.